I'll stand for pledge allegiance.
Oh, is,
Chris, to be late, I guess.
oh,
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
doing a good job so far.
So far, yeah. Right on track. Motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda approved. Motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second. Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve the minutes is approved. Public comment? No public comments. We'll move on.
I'll make one. Nice hat.
you can comment on the public?
Well, board comment, actually. Appointments, auditor minors.
Okay, I sent you in your packet information on a parcel of land. It was tax forfeited way back in the 1950s. And basically, it's kind of useless. It's a ditch, it's got trees on it, it's landlocked. There was no interest in selling it up until recently. It came up a few years ago and the town board really didn't want it to go to a public auction because if somebody who wasn't an adjacent landowner would purchase it, they would have to give access to it. Now it came up again, one of the adjoining landowners would like to buy it. I checked with the Department of Revenue because there are certain qualifications for having a private sale. They said it was eligible for a private sale. So basically, the town board has approved it. If you guys approve it, I can offer it to as a private sale to the two adjoining landowners. And you can set the purchase price at anything from $1 on up. Personally, it would be nice to get it back on the tax rolls. All the tax forfeited land we have in the county, the amount we get from the state is $130 a year, and that's shared between us and the townships. When land tax forfeit, it actually goes to the state of Minnesota. They own it, but we hold it in trust for them, and we get a minute amount of money for holding it in trust. So it would be I think in everybody's best interest to get it back on the tax roll.
What did they owe on it tax-wise?
You know what? It was from the 1950s.
Oh, so
there was no record of it anymore.
Oh, so it's not like they owe
Those records are
something.
long
Oh, okay.
gone.
Okay.
It's just been sitting
So it's sitting there,
So
not
it's just
generating any
doing
revenue.
anything?
and it's a ditch.
It is a ditch. Yep.
Big ravine.
Sure.
Yep, exactly.
I'm confused though, as far as the sale then. Who will conduct the sale?
I will.
Okay.
I conduct every tax forfeiture sale.
Okay,
So
and
how would
then,
they go about it, Char?
I would set a date and time. I have to give them 30 days written notice. Both parties can come in and bid. And if one of them doesn't show up, the other one can bid minimum price. If they both show up, they can bid it up from whatever you set the minimum
So
at.
we-
so
set the
somebody
minimum.
else could come into
No,
it?
it's a
It's
private sale, only adjacent landowners.
Only
And I
adjacent.
have to notify those two owners and let them know date and time.
Okay.
They're the only ones eligible.
And what would the starting,
We
You
set
could
that.
set it on whatever you want. You could have $1, anywhere up.
And then that goes to the county, whatever that money is?
Whatever is generated, 20% goes to the township, 40% to the county, and 40% to the school. In addition, they have to pay a $25 state deed fee. They have to pay a $46 recording fee. They have to pay deed tax in the amount of .0033 of whatever the purchase price is, and they have to pay a 3% state assurance fund. So there's other fees on top of it.
What are thoughts for starting bid though?
Well, we have to have it low enough that we don't get it back.
That's my feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
That if nobody wants it, like you said, it's a ditch.
Right.
Evidently, someone's inquired that is interested, but we don't want it back either. And
That's
we'd
my
rather get it
feeling.
back on the tax rolls and get
Even if you
something out of
sold it for
yearly.
$1, in the
Right.
long run, we're gonna come out
How many acres was it?
15.
15.
Yeah, and there's only two landowners, at least from looking on the pages.
Correct.
It's landlocked
Correct.
between two owners, and Whether either, both of them have an interest in it, I don't know.
I know one has expressed an interest, and I don't know if the other one will show up and bid. I'm thinking if you start it low enough, probably they'll both show up and they may bid it up to a decent amount. But they may not.
Right, but if only one's interested, we don't wanna put it so high that they say, no, I'm not interested
Exactly.
for
Right.
that. And
Exactly.
we didn't sit on our tax rolls again, deal with it down the road.
What about a couple $100?
That's what I was thinking, put a few $100 on it, so then if only one really wants it, they're willing to pay a few $100 to put and pay taxes on it yearly.
I think that's fair.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I mean, if it,
If they both want it, it'd probably go a lot higher.
Right.
I don't know why it would, if it's landlocked and it's not like we're selling prime
No. Like I said,
real
it's-
estate.
It's not buildable.
when I talked to Brian about it, he said, it's, it's not buildable, it's not traversable, anything, it's just there.
And we don't want it back. I mean, we really want to get rid of this.
I'd make a motion to start the offer at 200.
We have a motion on the table, any seconds?
I'll second it. I was, discussion-wise, I was thinking start it at 100, only because we want to get rid of it. But it's fine, I did second your motion.
Yeah, I think 200 to anybody that's
Yeah, I mean,
well within their,
15 acres is still 15 acres.
well, and I guess I was going the other way, thinking you go $500, because even at $500 to buy 15 acres for $500, if you're a hunter or whatever, it'd be huge. But I'm good with whatever.
only
'cause
thing is,
get out of
same
there.
thing even for hunting, you gotta cross somebody's land to get it. but
Well, I
you
mean,
get approval.
if the
If
owner
they're
adjacent,
right,
yeah.
Right,
an extra 15 acres.
yeah,
I'm good either way,
doesn't.
so it doesn't
it's
matter to me really.
Not a big deal either way either. Is the second on the table, all in favor?
Aye.
I think that's everybody. Motion carries. 200.
Thank you.
Justin?
Morning.
Good morning.
Justin.
Where are you guys?
Good, you?
Good. I got quite a few items here to bring forward. We'll start with our bituminous seal coat project. That project number is CP 2018-06, bituminous fog seal and seal coat. The low bid on that was Scott Construction. We're looking to award the base bid in the amount of $326,670.68, which was 18.6% below the estimate.
How much below?
18.6 on that.
Oh, we've worked with those people before.
We have, yeah.
They're out of the Dells?
Yeah, excuse me.
Are they out of the Dells?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of work with those, with Scott, and they're good to work with. I think one of the things that contributed to that is we typically run a Class A aggregate, which is a harder stone, and we went to a Class B this time, so we didn't really know how to estimate that since we're not accustomed to that aggregate, so.
Okay. I'd make a motion to approve the bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
The second one I'm gonna bring forward is to approve all quotes for the equipment rental rates. We use these in times of emergency or, a deep fill pipe, something that we don't have the equipment to run with, so we had quite a few bidders on that. We're just looking to approve all quotes on that.
Yeah, motion to approve the equipment rental bids.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
The third item is gonna be our abstract or quotes for the aggregate stockpile. We received quotes from multiple contractors. This is used for our maintenance projects and also winter maintenance as well. So we're looking for a motion to approve all quotes on that one as well.
And you go with one provider then after the quotes, or?
No, it's kind of based on where the project's located too. So if we got a long haul distance, sometimes we go with the closest quarry at that point. So
Oh,
we're saving
okay.
on travel time. There's various quarries throughout the county that have provided rock for us. So it's not just a set in stone.
Oh,
We're gonna
okay.
ask to
It's
approve
not
all
set in
quotes.
stone, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The price from that person is set in stone, but
Right.
say you're within a mile of some quarry, you're gonna get, they
Right.
will.
Right. Maybe
you're
a
gonna
little.
use that, save all the trucking and everything.
Right.
else.
We're saving money on the trucking costs versus
Right.
the rock price. So.
Little play on words here.
And all the prices were very close, actually, from
Yeah, they were
all,
pretty close. So,
for the most part.
yeah.
So it gives you guys a good way to pick
Right.
which one you want, when you want it.
Right. Yeah.
If they have it available.
It just
at the
works
time.
out pretty well. I mean, then it's a lot easier to go with what's closest to you.
Right.
So,
Good.
I'll make a motion to approve the abstract bids for stockpile quotes.
Second. Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
fourth item's going to be approve the low quote for our pavement marking contract. We had 3 quotes that came in. Farner Asphalt Sealers LLC was the low on that. The total dollar figure on that was $92,392.05. That came in 3.77% above the estimate, which is pretty close. So it's not just Houston County's work either. We collaborate with the City of Caledonia and the City of La Crescent to get them better prices as well. So that's kind of all lumped into one project there.
And then they pay towards it when we do a project in the city or,
Yep, so we administer the contract and then we bill the cities back and then they pay us.
okay.
You measure and bill them
Yep.
separately.
Yep,
So that'll include like the bike lanes and,
correct, yeah, symbols, all that. We restripe all of La Crescent on our county system, and then this is the first year the City of La Crescent jumped in with us to stripe their system as well, so.
okay.
Have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve Varner Asphalt for the paint project.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. The last item I have is going to be the low quote for calcium chloride for dust control. The low quote on that was Northern Salt. Their units priced delivered 2-tanker to Caledonia and Spring Grove is 88 cents per gallon, and delivered and applied to various county roads would be 99 cents a gallon. So we're looking for a motion to approve Northern Salt's quote.
We've had them before too.
Yeah, we've worked with them a couple years ago, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the calcium chloride quote from Northern Salt.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Cool,
Thanks,
thank you.
Justin.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you guys too.
Thanks.
We'll be done before Fred gets here.
And Tess is up, looks like.
You want to go down to the action items?
Yeah.
Kind of keep going,
Well.
you think? Yeah.
I don't see Tess, so, motion to approve action items?
Yeah, motion to approve claims, human
Claims.
services, and licenses center disbursements.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve claims for human service license center disbursements. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Thank you.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Trying to get Tess here early.
Sure.
We should move down to discussion and discuss the email from Minda.
Yeah.
Shar, can you contact
Yep, I'm
Tess,
doing it
please?
right now.
Thank you. I could have gotten it done in another 40 minutes or something.
Suppose Fred had probably more to say on this. I think it was his kind of email to Minda that,
Striked up the.
yeah, got the conversation going on it. I don't know what discussion was in mind for it.
I don't
It's
know.
more just informational from what I read.
That's what I understood too from the letter that we got from the DOT, that they want to meet with the Houston County and City of Caledonia to discuss it further.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we can't really be opposed to pedestrian safety.
No, we're getting together to discuss it.
Right.
It's just, do we put a commissioner in charge of that? I would think someone's got to set up a time and date and something to do it with MnDOT.
We could assign Fred.
Well, that's what I was
I would think
thinking.
we
You know,
would
when-
definitely have to
Yes,
have Brian involved also,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
We got a county road and a lot of stuff if we're talking safety right up in that area. If we're talking one area in specific, I'm assuming,
Right.
mostly,
Yeah,
high school area.
right.
I'm still a little disappointed that they aren't willing to meet with us about that County 3 and Highway 26 in Brownsville.
I know.
That
And-
intersection's
That's
dangerous,
terrible.
I think.
Well,
It is, I mean.
I think that would be a good point to be brought up at this again.
Well, if you're going to talk safety, let's
Right.
talk that
Yeah.
safety.
Right.
You know?
Every
That to
time
me
we,
is- Me too.
every time we pull out from there, I have to say, Janet, anything coming?
Yeah,
Oh,
Or you
it's
have to be
terrible.
pulled out in the highway
Yeah,
practically to
Yeah,
see
because I
anything.
can't see around her,
Right.
and, you know, it's bad.
yeah, and there really is no good way to turn and square up to see.
No,
And if you get out there, then a semi can't make the turn on you.
yeah,
Right.
I'm surprised there haven't been some
Yeah.
incidents there, because it's not good. So we're going to pass this on to Fred to set up a time?
You have to meet with Brian and Fred, and they can contact the DOT when they can come to our meeting.
Yeah,
At least Fred could set it up, bring it back and see who we want on it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be opposed to being on it if he asked, or if he
Okay.
wanted somebody else.
You want to
meet
head
with
it
the
up,
DOT.
Scott?
I could head it up also.
As long as Fred isn't here,
Yep.
get hold of Brian and the DOT, what's his name, Kurt Wayne.
Yep, I can.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
And I'll just discuss it with Fred from there and
Yeah.
we can go on and I'll work on that.
Okay.
Well, Teresa, do you want to discuss any reports or comments? Well, we're,
Sure, I have a couple things. I did have a meeting with the County Extension Committee, and they're working on the Family of the Year. They have 3 people that they're narrowed it down to, and will be asked and qualified before they make a choice there. Also, there was a lot of discussion on, and it's kind of statewide, that Extension has interns that are willing to work on special projects in the county. And our education coordinator, Mike Cruz, mentioned 3 projects that we could be looking at with Fillmore County to work, because we collaborate, the 2 of us share the position. One would be soil health, the second would be invasive species, the control and education, and the third would be the master gardener projects. He mentioned a rain project, but I'm not quite sure what that was. Anyway, this would be possibly put in the budget for 2019. Estimated cost would be $7,500 for the summer, May till August, it's when they're on. And we would share it with Fillmore County, so it'd be $3,200 or whatever. But that will be brought up during budget time, but I thought I'd at least
yeah.
plant the
And
idea.
who would actually bring it up at budget time? What
The
department?
extension office, our district director, and then Mike Cruz,
Okay.
who's our coordinator.
okay.
So, but I thought it'd be a good idea to let you know that this is
Yeah.
kind of being discussed, because it would be a good thing to get some special projects done. I don't know. I did get a call from the clerk of La Crescent Township that they officially are going to be turning over their zoning office to the county. And a letter of resolution will be sent by their attorney to our office here in Caledonia. And it's mainly because we are being annexed so heavily that all of our urban areas will be in the city of La Crescent. So we're basically going to be a rural township similar to the other 16 townships. So they haven't moved on it yet until they get the official notice. So.
When do we think? How long?
It's probably going to be 2 months of turning over records, but we'll be able to start taking applications once it's officially, people for a building permit. It's not supposed to add much to the zoning office here in the county because their zoning administrator was very part-time. It's mainly building permits. Of course, there will be variances that will be coming up, but we can handle it better than they can at this point.
I've met a couple times with Aaron, and he's on top of it, and
Yeah, I talked to Karen
So is
last
there
night.
some funding that comes with this that La Crescent was getting, that we will
No,
be getting?
there was no funding. They paid for it out of their budget. Their zoning board and their administrator
Came out of their city budget.
came out of the
Their
township.
township budget, yeah.
And we really don't have a say in this, really, do we? I mean, could you say no?
No, I doubt
No.
that you can.
Actually,
within the
the
county, I
township
don't
is
know.
under the county anyway. They can't be less strict than the county is anyway, so.
Mhm.
But it doesn't, financially, that board feels that it doesn't make sense for them to have their own zoning anymore. But
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
that we really have an option to
No,
tell
we
a
have no
township,
option.
no, we won't
No, I don't think.
run your zoning. I mean, I think we could have the option to say you can run your own, but not that we won't.
Right, that we won't do it.
Right.
I think you're right.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay. And I did send that letter of support to the La Crosse City County Administrator supporting their applications for the Solid Waste Department Director. So, got that off in the mail. That's basically, I was questioning when I was going through my preparation for today, did we get any estimates on that jail reuse?
I just talked to a contractor last night who was going to do that, but he said he was waiting. Would Brian Pogodzinski have the schematic on that?
Of
That's-
the jail,
The old jail?
old
Of
jail?
the old jail? That's who he mentioned, that he was waiting for Brian. He
I
said
would-
Brian, and I can't pronounce his last name, so
Yeah.
I knew who he
Um,
was.
I wonder if Tess would have it.
I-
What
Well,
was-
we'll ask Tess.
Yeah,
I would've
between,
thought buildings would have.
between Tess or Brian, because I saw it when we were in
Yeah, so,
meetings on the,
so I'll
reuse.
contact Brian and tell him to get in
that
touch
Tess
with.
now might
Okay.
know also.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, those were my concerns right there.
Do you have anything?
I
Good
am
spot
going
to
to say
take
no.
over.
I'm
I don't
good.
have anything either, so
Okay.
I don't know.
I do.
Reports
Yep.
on-
Should I go ahead, or?
Might as well start. We can
Okay.
maybe,
Well, I had a EDA tour Monday of Crest Precast in La Crescent. Very impressed. They have quite an operation, very community-oriented, and ship things way beyond where I thought they
Wow.
might do things, and very interesting. I told them they're kind of the poster child for EDA loans, because they had gotten one for one of their buildings, and they employ a fair amount of people, and they good for the community. So it was interesting. Had a Wildcat Park meeting, and pretty much set for opening May 1st. And then talked about some changes in 2019, but those won't be implemented, like I said, till 2019. Interesting occurrence down there. A couple of large trees on the end that provided nice shade and good were taken down by beavers.
Big trees.
And these are trees like this. I mean, so they got permission from Fish and Wildlife, I'd assume,
Think so.
to trap the 70-pound
Right.
beaver.
They got them?
Yeah, a couple
Holy
of 70-pounders.
Yeah.
I mean, they said.
That's a,
That's huge.
yeah, it is, so.
I mean-
And then yesterday, I met, had an SEMNECB meeting.
What does that stand for?
Emergency Communication Board.
Yes, and
I was on that for a
I am the
while.
chair of that board now, so that was my first go at it, but interesting. I've got some things I need to talk with our department about, because Steele, Houston, and I think Mauer did not go with the group for, let me find it here now. For the voice logging, and that is soon to be upgraded at a considerable cost, so it would probably be in our best interest to get into the group so that that cost can be shared. But I'll know more when I talk to, Brian Swedberg is the one that's pretty much on top of it now, so I will do that. But just give you an indication of where our world is at with some of this stuff now. We talked about the ECB, the RAC, the VLC, the HSEM, the HERT. I mean, if you don't know your acronyms,
Right.
you sit there like, what are we talking
What?
about, you
Yeah.
know? So, and that's only a partial. I
Yes.
won't read any more.
They gave me 2 pages of the letters, and I was supposed to look them up to see what they were.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy,
It
2
is.
pages.
But that's all I have.
Tess, are you ready?
I have a quick pre-question
Yeah.
for you, Tess. We had, I had talked to the gentleman who was going to give us an estimate on the old jail, and he said he needed something from Brian Pogodzinski.
Like the schematics, the layout of the.
I just got off the phone with Andy Weezer.
Pardon?
I just got off the phone with Andy Weezer.
Okay. It
Very
was-
nice, very helpful gentleman. And some of the schematics and numbers that were sent in February, there's a timeout or they expired. Anyway, they're no longer in his email, so I'm going to send them back to him this afternoon. He did state that he thought the numbers that we were presented for a full
Renovation.
renovation would be more than adequate, and we were just talking generally. I'm going to get him the other information. He thought that the cost, if we could be anywhere between $60 to $80 per square foot for an open concept, that would include, depends upon what all we need, but it would include the build out for the HVAC, the running the
HVAC system, or?
on the HVAC, running the, for crying out loud. The vents.
Okay.
ductworks and-
And doing the vents, the electrical, a set of restrooms that meet ADA, et cetera. But basically having 2 finished floors that would be finished with open concept where you have customer counters with multiple desks.
But we
behind
also
them.
wanted 1 floor, too, so we wouldn't have to. Is that correct, Scott? We talked about.
That's how I understood. We were
Yeah.
looking at 1 floor at a time, or at least to see what we could do with 1 floor at a time.
Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
and
recall
then we
that,
would-
but
then we
let me
could
give him
eliminate
that
the-
new information. They've been very busy, and I thanked them for their willingness to help
Well, I
us.
talked to Andy's boss last night, and he said, yeah, if he got that information, but if you're in
I
contact
will
with Andy, I'm
resend
sure he
them.
must have talked to him.
That's
But
why
we
I'm
wouldn't
a
need
little
an,
late getting over here.
okay, but we would need an elevator if we did one floor.
Not at this time, no.
Yeah, okay.
It'd have to be figured in, so we could,
Yeah.
you know, where it would sit, how it would sit and
Right,
everything.
right.
And
Have to
just-
plan for it.
Just to give you, complete your update a little bit, we have submitted the 75% report for the reuse study to the Minnesota Historical Society. You were talking about acronyms, MHS. But that's Minnesota Historic Society. They'll have, as well as the 60% completion for the architectural studies, which it appears is more than 60% done, but we call it our 60% milestone for this particular building as well. So we are on track. I have to, I'm working with the architectural firm to determine an appropriate date to request to go, where they can accompany me to go to the Minnesota Historic Society to present our work to date, as that is also one of the conditions. So that will happen within a month.
Okay.
So I'll get those dates
Okay.
from them soon. Anything else on that? Okay, and thank you for that information about the one floor, single floor
Mhm.
build out and staging it. Next, the environmental services for the Board of Adjustment. We had 2 applicants. Our procedure, I forwarded that to you earlier. Our procedure is for the board to rank and recommend your top 2 applicants back to the search committee. I am on that committee ad hoc only for EEO oversight. That search committee is comprised of the zoning administrator, the environmental services director, as well as on representation from the board. So we will, upon your recommendation, should you determine that today, we would then call the search committee for set up the interviews, and then come back to this body with the results of those interviews.
I would think
Fine with
we
it.
have 2 applicants, and we're ready to
And
move on
we
to
are
that
going
point.
for
I would
one
think.
person and.
Your 2 applicants are Mr. Brian Van Gorp and Mr. Kenneth Anderson.
We already
Excuse
appointed
me,
Kenneth.
Mr. Mike Novak.
Okay,
I
Mike.
apologize. You
So-
did already appoint Mr. Anderson. Mike Novak.
Mike Novak.
Mhm. I sent those materials to you earlier.
So, our, excuse me, our next step is just having that committee pick out of those 2 then.
Right,
Mhm, and
interview and
recommend.
pick from them,
Yes.
because we don't really need to rank and file.
No.
Exactly.
And it is, the 2 commissioners are the, I'm reading from your procedures, are the commissioners appointed to the Personnel Committee. Okay,
Zimieski and Miller.
Mhm.
so if you would
So basically, we just need
make that official,
make it
directing me
official
to
that we
do
want to
it.
move it to the next level, to the interview process.
So move.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries to move.
Thank you. So we will move Mr. Novak and Mr. Van Gorp. I will invite them for interview with the committee. Thank you. I'm looking to see if Director Pugliese is here. We have been in the process of interviews for eligibility worker. We have 2 vacancies. We're prepared to go forth with one of a recommendation for one today. The other will be forthcoming in your next session as soon as we complete the reference checks. Today, we are recommending, Mr. Puglisa, Karen Kohlmeyer, and myself are recommending that we reassign, we had an internal applicant, that we reassign Leah Milde, M-I-L-D-E, as a full-time probationary eligibility worker. This is a lateral transfer for Ms. Milde. She is going from a B23 position to another B23 position. She will maintain her current salary at step 4 of $20.23 an hour until her anniversary date in July, where she is would go to her the next step. This is effective April 30th.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer of Leah Milde to, and what is this for, the probationary?
Human Services
Eligibility.
worker, Karen Kohlmeyer's area.
Oh, okay,
We have 2 vacancies that we were searching for.
right. And both of them were for the same position, so we have
They'll
one
have
now.
some, they may have work that is concentrated in one area of it or another, but they're both, will be
Under
at the
Karen.
discretion of Ms. Kohlmeyer.
Okay, our financial, okay, so moved.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioners, I don't have any other items for the agenda at this time. I will be back at 10 o'clock for the posted closed session. Do you have any questions for me on any other matters for updates? Or?
Tess, wasn't following, I didn't get to look up, Fred had said something about changing, we're still working on that parking area with the Fair Board.
Yes, Commissioner, I
I-
can give you an update on that.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Ag Society lease for the fairgrounds with the county. And Commissioner Arnold there was a paragraph in there, paragraph 5, bullet 4, wherein we discussed the Fair Board's ability to raise a building and put up, I think it's a new sheet building. And Commissioner Arnold suggested that it be in more general language for all future buildings and have a just the process set forth. And so that was that recent amendment that I
Okay.
sent back yesterday. I do think it is an improvement to the underlying, or to the agreement, and it will add more longevity, if you will, and a little more process. In there, I also recommended that there would be a 6-week turnaround time by the county. I think 6 weeks would provide adequate time for the county to gather information, to respond to any reasonable request by the Fair Board to raise or put up a structure. And so those were the changes, Commissioner.
Okay.
Just those changes, nothing
I read
else.
through it pretty
Great.
thoroughly. It sounded good to me.
Yeah, I never got back to what bullet points and stuff, I was gonna look it up, but thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And this has already gone through Attorney Yant, right?
I don't know if he has had an opportunity to review the amendment yet.
Okay. And then it will go to the Fair Board for their,
Well, I think,
Or what?
once it's amended, I'd like it to go to all the commissioners, so we can say,
You should all have a copy of it right
Mhm.
now. I've
Yep.
sent
Right.
it to all of you. Historically, what we do is we get the opposite party to sign first, then it comes back to the board, once we, so that the county attorney can review it for form and content prior to the board's action and signature by the chair.
Sounds good.
Have I described that adequately?
That's correct.
May we, can we legally move the closed session up?
Well, it's not a public notice.
Yeah.
Well, except for if the individual has a right to open the session and they don't believe it's until 10 o'clock,
Oh, true.
then we
Makes
have,
sense.
we have an issue. And I have not heard one way or the other.
We actually have 10:15 down.
Well, should
Or
we recess
10:15.
for 20 minutes?
Could we contact the person and see if they want to be
I
present?
can do that.
Why don't
If
you do
you
that? 'Cause
excuse
Does
me,
anyone
I'll
know-
go make a
Does
phone
anyone
call.
know when Fred would be back? Did
It
you?
I
said
thought he said
10.
10 too.
Yeah. Okay. So probably a recess for 20 minutes would be a better.
Okay. Just before you head, Tess, so if I'm understanding this right now, we basically got anything we think, as far as you, me, Fred, Brian, think on the parking area that we're dealing with. And all the commissioners have a copy now. Could we, by, say, next Tuesday, we can say everybody's reviewed it, and then we can give it to the fairgrounds so they can give it to Sam, so we can come to the board again?
And give it to the fairgrounds and they can give it to Sam, or they can run it back to my office. Either way is sufficient, and I will share it with a county attorney. The thing that is changed in there is the description of the parking area that is limited use. And so I have not walked that, but if you're satisfied that that's adequately reflected in the county engineer is, then that was the biggest change.
Yeah.
The language change is fairly
Besides them
straightforward.
wanting it moved to a 50-year lease for their building, what we started dealing with. And now we just added that our parking, some parking area that we could co-use. And,
I believe they have three uses a year.
yeah.
And of course, any contract can be amended going forward if you folks and the Ag Society determine that it doesn't continue to meet your needs. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Well, I would make a motion to recess the meeting until 10:05.
We have a motion?
10:05? And not
Well-
10:15?
Why don't you say 10 o'clock?
Well,
Because
I'm
she's
just
going to
thinking-
contact the person right now.
Oh,
Just
okay.
curious, Commissioners, wouldn't you want to finish up your comments?
We kind
Oh.
of did.
We kind of did, Craig.
Do you have, because I heard a couple of you speak earlier.
Yeah.
Commissioner
Yep.
reports.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said I had nothing, and
I didn't
Justin
have
said
anything.
he had.
You guys said
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you
Do you want to, should I amend my motion to 10 o'clock? Is that,
Works for me.
okay? I would do that. Suggest a recess till 10.
We have a motion on the floor to recess until 10 o'clock.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Recessed until 10 o'clock.
I would move to reconvene the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fred called when we were on the break and mentioned that he was on his way, but he didn't think he'd get here anytime sooner than 10:20.
Okay.
But he wanted to, we talked about the administrator deal, finding another company. And the other company, I should have mentioned this at the commissioner report, so I'm going to do it real quick. He mentioned that, or I guess I called and found out there's another company that does do similar work, not the exact same, but similar. Fred got a proposal from them and printed it out for all of us to have so we could look it over, because Gary Wires is coming next week, so he just thought we should have both.
To look at
to-
beforehand.
Yep, yep.
Makes sense.
So anyway, he said he was gonna stop by and drop that stuff off, so.
Okay.
I told him, just whenever you get here, you get here.
Yep.
So anyway, that's that.
Good.
Is, Fred, is it his eye issue?
Yeah, I think last week was pre-op, and then he was having, is it cataract?
He had
Yeah.
cataract, yeah.
Yeah. I think he had it yesterday, and today was just the follow-up appointment.
Follow-up.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Brand
Even
new
medicine, or for these guys?
Let's see him.
Oh, just the Houston County Airport invested in the paving project.
Sam, you want to make sure your intern knows this isn't a normal.
It's not usually this boring.
So do we want to go into closed session at this time? No, we have to wait till 10:15?
I was not able to get in touch with the individual.
Oh, okay.
So, Jack, tell us where everything's at with the hotel and stuff in the Crescent.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to start in May, I believe. Everything is a go. They need money yet. I think they're maybe about 2/3 to the goal,
Okay.
but, yeah.
They'll break ground without.
They'll break
being-
ground without.
As long as they're that
yeah,
far.
Yeah, and,
Well, they're going to demolish the Legion
Legion.
first.
That goes completely first.
mhm, yeah. No, I think it,
I think it's going to be a good thing.
Gonna
Wonder if
be
they'll
a-
ever print, I'd like to see it, the outline,
Oh,
the
yeah.
layout, of
Yeah,
how
yeah.
it's sitting, and
I know there were some people not happy with the traffic that will probably come off of, what's that, Park Street?
that's what I was wondering, if they're doing anything different traffic-wise
Yeah.
or anything. And
Yeah.
there's, it's kind of a goofy setup right there.
It is. But I think it'd be a nice addition.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm amazed at the demand for banquet facilities for weddings and so forth. And that the Legion has run its course in
Yeah.
in that regard.
Right. That's where I had mine at.
Yeah. You know, a lot of them,
Yeah.
they're and be interesting to see that racetrack development too. That's been talked about
Oh, I
for,
haven't even heard of.
Yeah.
Out of town somewhere?
you know where Weiser Park is?
Mm-hmm.
Right behind it.
Oh, okay.
And do you know how many houses are talking?
Oh, I think they were talking 57 homes or plus apartments.
Plus quite a large apartment,
Mhm.
which I don't know if that's been approved or not.
Well, from what the planning commission in La Crescent
Approved
approved
it.
everything so far.
Well,
So why do they call it the racetrack? What racetrack
It
is there?
used to be a racetrack.
What
was
kind
that?
of
Or
horses are-
harness racing.
Harness racing?
Was it harness?
It was harness racing, yeah.
When was that?
Back in the early 1900s.
Really?
And what is harness
Fact,
racing?
You know, where they sit in the little buggy and,
Oh, yep, the chariot type just about.
I think they
Yep.
still have them down in Baroka.
So it never was cars?
It never was.
They never raced cars there?
No.
No,
Horses. It was horses. In fact, what's that famous horse they always, La Crescent's always claiming that he was there, you know, and that's.
Secretariat? or-
No.
Secretary, oh.
Dan Patch. Dan Patch?
I think so.
Yeah. It was a very famous horse, and when I worked at the historical thing at, last fall, I was talking to the Corn Force, who remembered hearing about that too, but they thought when the trains came through La Crescent, they would let the horses out to pasture overnight, and then, but they don't think he ever really raced there.
Well, let's keep it alive that he did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. A very famous horse. Yeah, it was just horse racing.
Yeah, that could change the whole dynamics of coming in out of La Crescent and everything.
See,
Get
that's
a-
why they're gonna annex all the homes on County 6 all the way to the racetrack area
Okay.
to run sewer and water.
They would sewer and water everything then?
Yeah.
All the way out?
Yeah. And I think, I'm feeling good about the developer, this gentleman that owns Badger Corrugating.
How was the sewer system? They updated that not that terribly long ago, didn't they?
They piped it to La Crosse.
That's what it was. Yes, right. They had a few issues, I remember, at the time,
Yeah,
underwater piping and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great deal, because now expansion doesn't really probably become an issue.
Right.
Like it was.
Like it was, yeah.
And that's like any place anymore, you know. try to
Until
expand.
La Crosse hits it.
Right, yeah.
Because things are booming there too, you know, gee whiz.
I mean, every hollow, every place, you know, just keeps filling up.
Yeah,
You can't hardly tell the difference between Onalaska, Holman, West Salem, you know, it's just all
yeah.
together.
Well, I've remarked before when I've been on the east side of Wisconsin, Milwaukee to Green Bay, it's one city.
Right.
I mean,
It's
you
all,
just,
yep.
People are really upset about it because they're estimating $27,000 taxes for each home for it.
Existing homes.
Because they also want to pay for a new lift station rather than having the developer do it. So
And-
the people would have to pay for it.
and then I'm sure there are people who
Just
just
put-
recently upgraded
They
their
just put
septic.
in new mound
Right.
systems, which cost $10,000,
Mhm.
and now,
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay, 10:15,
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
second.
You know, Jay? Weed nut?
Oh, yeah, Jay. Yeah, no, very well.
From here, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Closed session will begin.
Closed session pursuant to Minnesota Stat 13D-05, subdivision 2B, for the preliminary consideration of allegations or charges against an individual subject to its authority.
Motion carries to come out of closed session.
The board was in closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05 subdivision 2B regarding the probationary status of employee Jennifer Aggie. No determination was made in closed session.
Discussion?
Do we have a motion?
Would somebody like to make a motion?
No, you're still,
Right.
oh. Well, never
Yeah, you
mind.
could do it.
I came in late, I better
Okay.
not.
Well, based on the information presented and discussed and evaluated in the closed session, I would move to terminate the employee
Effective,
immediately.
thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to terminate Ms. Eggy immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred, I think everybody's kind of went through everything. About the only thing left is commissioner report, and we'd all have done ours.
That narrows it down, doesn't it? Very effectively. Okay, I've got two things that I need to get to you. This is the Southeast Minnesota Water Resources Board 2018 information packet that I'm handing out now. And then I also have, and you read through it, I can answer most questions about it, I think. And we can, you can ask next week or ask me some other time. But in any event, I also, at the last meeting, we talked about having another firm possibly being interested in the job search for a county administrator, or at least helping us in that process. And Justin made contact with an organization, and I followed up on it, and I have a bunch of printed material here. And we are not going to be able to discuss that today. I just got this material emailed to me last night, and it came on my personal email, and I wasn't quite good enough to get it sent to everybody on email, so I had to print it out. So when we have an appointment with, I can't remember their name, Justin.
Well, it's Gary Wires.
Yeah,
is the
Gary, we
gentleman
have
that's
an
coming in, yep.
appointment with him, I think, for next week. I thought it would be good if everybody had this material along with his material to
Right.
take a look at before he comes.
Good deal.
Good, thank you.
Fred, before I forget, because you mentioned your email, it spurred my memory. I received in the mail from the solid waste department in La Crosse some papers that have to be signed and returned to them. I've given them to the zoning officer
Okay.
for you to sign. It involves, they did some recontracting or whatever, and we had credits that were looking like they were going to disappear, and Rick said, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, we.
So that's what it is. They restructured it, so what is being
use their
signed
credits.
is going to continue to recognize the credits that we've built up.
And it's like 21,000. It's
Yeah.
quite
It
a bit
it was substantial.
It's worthwhile.
over
Yeah.
the years, but yeah,
Yeah. So if you, after the meeting, if you just go down to zoning,
Yeah.
they'll have it. Okay?
Okay.
I think I stole some of yours. They all go together. Gotta sit down with Fred.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign that too.
Yeah, we.
Okay. You're still chair until the end of the meeting, I think, aren't you?
Might as well stay.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
You're the chair. No.
Well, then I should give a brief report on the extension committee meeting, or has Teresa already
Yeah,
done
she
that?
did.
You've talked about the,
I didn't talk about the auction part because they're having a follow-up meeting next Monday. But I did tell
Okay.
them about the intern that they're considering for next year.
Okay.
You were gone by that time.
yeah, I know, I had to leave
did give a report
early.
of that.
Did they talk at that meeting at all about how it's going with the shared position?
With the what?
The shared position?
No, they do
Okay.
not.
We need to follow up on that next time.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Any more comments?
The only thing left I see is public comment, I guess.
Any public comments? No public comments? I'd entertain a motion to dismiss. To
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.